Hello and welcome to Not the Dragon Shed for the first soap of 2020, which is quite scary, but okay. So as you can see here, I've already got some of my soap mix made essentially. So I made about 40% of the soap last night, and 24 hours later I've just rolled it into the little balls. Now this soap is my Shea butter soap, and I've mixed in a little bit of cocoa for colour and then a little bit of titanium dioxide to bring it up. And there are also, you probably can't see them on this camera, actual sultanas in the soap, which may or may not come out or go right in the soap itself. They haven't reacted in the small batch, so I don't expect they're going to react in the big batch. Fingers crossed. Okay, so I actually made my lye water up when I did the other one, so this is definitely cool. That's a 20, that's a 22, so we're good to go. So, I should clarify a couple of points before I start this. This year's soaps are all going to be all inspired by our trip to Canada in the summer. Now some of them are more kind of landscapey, more kind of technique based, whereas this one is, well, not. This is, I'm calling this one Mum and Raisin because that's the fragrance I'm going for. And also because I want this to look somewhat like a bowl of ice cream. Now this may or may not work. Again, as usual, this is a bit of an experiment. I have the idea in mind and I've worked it out in my head, and so far the balls have worked, so that's a good start at least. So before I put my lye in, I'm going to stick in a little bit of titanium dioxide. Now this Shea butter does come out kind of a creamy white colour, and I want it to lean more towards kind of porcelain, like the bowl of the ice cream. So I haven't used titanium dioxide that much before, or actually at all. I've used a lot of micas to colour. So I've got myself a nice big bag and I'll be using that quite a bit in the next couple of videos. So I'm just going to give the titanium dioxide a bit of a stir into my oils. I'm thinking I probably should have put it in with the lye. Oh well, live and learn. Give this a quick whiz. Okay, so that's better. Right, so this is Shea butter recipe, so it does set quite quickly, although the first half didn't accelerate that much after I put the fragrance oil in, so I'm not sure if it will this time. We'll see. So lye going in. Okay, so I'm just going to whiz this until it reaches emulsion, which is going to be harder to do now I've got the titanium dioxide in there. Oops. Definitely thickened. See there, I find out I thickened too much. So first thing I'm going to do is run a little bit into the mould, into my loaf. I'm going to leave that to one side because I do want that to set slightly. There's no fragrance in there yet. And now I'm going to add a little bit of fragrance here. Only about half, that'll do. And I'm going to add a wee touch more, a touch of colour. I want this to stand out from the bowl section, if at all possible. Not too much. Okay. So that's some colour and my fragrance in there. The fragrance is quite a dark colour naturally, so hopefully the titanium dioxide and the blue shouldn't go too sludgy. So that's okay. I'm gonna leave it for the minute whilst I get my first layer of balls in. This is no way set, but it should be solid enough to support these in place. So the idea is I'm going for a fingernail for the soap. going for a pyramid shape. So starting with 3 at the bottom, and I'm going to jam them in quite tight. These balls are all around about 7 grams. Worked out about the right sort of size. So these are displacing the white. You probably can't see from that angle. So the white is coming up pretty much to on top of the balls, which is good. So hopefully I should be able to get 10 rows in here. So that means I do end up with 10 soaps. I'm not too concerned if they're not dead straight, because I'm going to cut in the middle of the balls. So you end up with a clean pyramid showing on both sides of each soap. 8, 9 or more. Bit of a gap. So I could have reduced the size a little bit more, but I think this is about right. So there. Don't want these floating. So I'll just nudge them to the bottom. Like that. So tap to level things out and get rid of any bubbles. How are you looking? Looking better. So going to use a very big tablespoon here in order to just lay on a thin layer over the top of the white. Mixing slightly, I don't mind that. Just want a thin layer on top. Okay. And then next row of balls will be 2. You can see in here that's a bit of sultana. I was tempted to actually do some rum soaked raisins, but alcohol in soap is not really a good idea. That's the next row in, and I'm going to float on another layer. So I do want this soap to fill in the gaps between the balls to create a stable base. At least that's the plan. And then one more on the top, like that. That's all my balls in. Now I'm going to just another layer on top, just again to kind of seat them in and cover them up. Make it a bit interesting when it comes to cutting. That ought to be fine. And we're going to do the same on these little ones. I'm just going to top up with this blue. So I've got nice full bars. So this is sat for more than a week now actually, because things have got a little bit hectic. So I had a chance to actually crack this open and get them out. So what I'm going to do is just double up my tea towel. Oh, and the colour's gone all squiffy. Okay. disappointment to start with. That lovely blue has gone a bit sludgy green. I know the fragrance oil was quite yellow, quite brown, so yeah, that's not helped. There's been a little bit of some leakage here. I think that's probably from the raisins in the balls. Not ideal, but that's what I've got. So I'm going to use just a standard kind of carving knife this time. Trying to think about where the balls are sitting, so I'm going to go for a slim half first. Because I'm using this knife rather than the cutter that came with the kit because of the raisins. I want to be able to cut through the raisins. I don't think I'll be able to do that with the other. That looks pretty good. That does look like a stack of ice cream balls. Yeah, actually quite impressed. So, I'm going to just wipe off the blade after every cut, just so it looks neat. I'm going for about a 2 cm-ish ball or soap. That way I should get the benefit of 10 rows of balls. Missed one at the end there, but I managed to get that one. That's still looking pretty good. I think the others are going to be better as the top ball gets covered